Hi, I'm Ed Chung. I have Meniere disease. I'm also an internal medicine physician, and I'm making a series of 8 videos, or 8.5 videos now, to further hopefully give you some extra information about Meniere's disease as both a patient and also as a physician. This is video 5, in which I'm going to talk about lifestyle modifications, but I'm actually going to break this video 5 series into 2 sections. This one's going to talk about lifestyle modifications. I'm going to name another video called video 5.5, called Tips to Try Now. And these are all a little summary of like 8 to 10 different little non-invasive little things that I've found that really, really, truly have helped my symptoms with Meniere's disease. Now, I apologize if these videos have not been uploaded quickly. I know you probably want to see all the videos at once, but I've been working quite a bit, and I've been having these little flaring of this Meniere's with nausea and just symptoms and tinnitus. In fact, even last night I was on call working overnight, and somewhere in the middle of the night I just got severely nauseous with vertigo. The room was spinning forward. I felt like I was tumbling forward. I couldn't open my eyes. I could barely walk. It wasn't as bad as some of my other attacks, but I almost threw up. I had to actually check myself into the emergency room where I was working just to get some fluids and Zofran and Ativan and scopolamine, and they gave me little steroids too. But besides that, I got some sleep and I'm better now. But I'm going to go through this video now while I'm hyped up on the steroids right now, and talk about lifestyle modifications that you can do to try to help reduce the symptoms or help deal with Meniere's disease or syndrome. I'm sure you know all this. Okay, it's all common sense. However, it's important to think about. If you are healthy and you're able to tolerate a lot more stress and disease and insults to your system and body than if you're not healthy. Think of the top of the line Mercedes-Benz whatever S-Class with like all the bells and whistles for $100,000. It has everything in there, and it's a beautiful thing to drive, and it's comfortable, and if you get an accident, you're safe. At the same time, you're driving a little small little Colt. It gets you from point A to B, but if you get an accident, if it breaks down, it's not that comfortable. Well, same thing with your body. If you get your body to the most optimal health or condition that you can, then you're going to be able to tolerate this Meniere's disease better than not. So the first thing I'm going to absolutely say that you should do, and there's 5 things I'm going to recommend, is the number 1 is to reduce your stress level and to stay positive about your Meniere's disease. Okay. When you first get diagnosed with Meniere's disease, it's disorienting. You feel horrible. You feel lousy. You don't know what's going on. It's as if you had a stroke. I mean, truly, it is as if you had a stroke. You've lost all your hearing on one side. There's constant ringing on one side of the brain. It's confusing everything. You're nauseous. It's vertigo. There's dizziness going on, and it causes a lot of stress. Well, if you can reduce the outside stress in your life, that is going to actually help with some of the symptoms. I'm not going to say it's going to make it go away, but it will help with your symptoms. So if possible, I know a lot of everyone out there works and everything, and I work, but try to go out on sick leave. Your ear, nose, and throat doctor who diagnoses this, or your primary care physician, should be able to give you 2 weeks off of work under sick leave if you have sick leave to help you deal with this. And it will help you, that 2 weeks off. So first things first, reduce your stress level. If you can't take time off of work, then you're going to, at the very least, going to have to at least take time between your work day to reflect on things, take deep breathing exercises, just clear your mind for a little bit, and at least try to reduce your stress level that way. Another thing is to stay positive. For others who are out there who have had Meniere's for a while or are suffering from this right now, it can cause you to be very, very, very depressed. You have to think of this like, it's not like cancer where it's a life-threatening, disabling, terminal disease, but it is a lifelong chronic process or disease or syndrome, and it's going to cause you grief. And there are 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I'm not too sure where you are right now, but you're going to have to go through all these stages, and there's no other way around it. but you have to try to stay positive. So that's the first tip. Second lifestyle modification I'm going to recommend absolutely is start a wellness or symptom journal. Okay, I mean, you know, they have these little calendars that throw away wellness journal, Catalina Medical Center. I keep a little notebook literally with all my symptoms, and this is an absolute must. I'm telling you right now, you think this is garbage and so on, but you absolutely must start a journal, okay? And what you need to do is write down all the things that you do and you take and that stress you, including medications and diet. And what happens is over time, you may be able to see a pattern on what things will trigger or make the Meniere's better or worse. So what I recommend is including 3 things in the journal. Number 1, include your diet, okay, what you eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Number 2, include your symptoms, which include the deafness, the tinnitus, the nausea, the vertigo, and energy level, and rate them from a scale of 1 to 10. So you go D for deafness, put 1 to 10, how bad it was that day. And then the third thing is include what you did for the day, whether you worked, how stressful you were, and maybe put in some of the quality of sleep, maybe whether you had a bowel movement. But start a wellness journal, however you want to do it, and track it along, and you'll see some patterns come out and see what helps and what doesn't help. The third thing I'm going to absolutely recommend for Meniere's disease, and I cannot stress this enough, is that you need to get sleep. Okay, it's absolutely medically proven that sleep, the quality and quantity of sleep, will affect the Meniere's disease. So you need to go to bed early and try to get at least 9 hours, if not 10 hours of sleep. A couple hints or tips: no eating, no drinking caffeine, or no exercise 2 hours before you go to bed. I'm not saying don't drink caffeine or don't exercise, but don't do that 2 hours before you go to bed. It's just not going to help you. It's not conducive to sleep. The other thing I'm going to absolutely recommend: no electronics in the bedroom. Meaning no iPod, no iPod Touch, no iPhone. The blue light from the computer monitors and all these things disrupt your sleep pattern, and you do not get a good quality sleep. Okay. The third thing I'm going to recommend with sleep is try some sleep aids if you need, and they're very helpful because these sleep aids will actually help with quieting down the Meniere's along with helping you get some sleep. So you can try like the Ativan. Okay. Ativan, it's like a tiny little white tablet. That actually cools down the nerve along with helping with the sleep. Or go buy over the counter, $5, Melatonin. It does work. There's actually studies out there, you can look it up and Google it. It actually does help quiet down the tinnitus and some of the symptoms. Okay. The other sleep aids, I don't recommend. The Benadryl, the NyQuil, the Tylenol TM may help you get to sleep, but it doesn't give you the quality sleep that you quite need. And I'm going to recommend just these 2 for now. Fourth thing I'm going to recommend is your diet. You are what you eat. Okay? There's absolutely no question in anybody's mind that what you eat will affect symptoms and how you feel. But it's variable from individual to individual. I can't tell you that what I eat is going to help you and what someone else is eating is going to help you better. It's going to be individual on how you feel. Okay? But you absolutely must cut out the coffee and the alcohol. You must cut out the salt. Okay? You absolutely should be on a low salt diet. The effects of the low salt diet are not going to be miraculous. It's not like you eat a low salt diet today and then tomorrow you're going to feel better from them in years. This is a slow accumulation of time of salt, and you got to think of this Meniere's like your kidneys. Okay, the fluid gets produced into the inner ear area and it gets reabsorbed or pushed out, and a high salt diet will increase the amount of swelling in the middle ear area. But again, slow effects, and it's very, very hard to do. What I recommend is a 1,500 milligram per day diet, which is extremely difficult. Read all the packets, look at everything. Okay. The other thing is you cut out the alcohol if you can. I mean, it's plus minus in benefits. Maybe a little bit of alcohol is okay. Cut down on the coffee and the caffeine, and you absolutely have to quit smoking. The nicotine just irritates the nerves and makes things worse. The last thing on diet I actually am going to recommend is that you do take either a multivitamin or not a multivitamin, a B complex vitamin. Okay, so just a daily multivitamin pack This is actually perfect. There's a multivitamin in it. You can take the vitamin E if you want. You take the calcium. Calcium actually I found for me actually helps a lot. The ginseng, cross that out. That's not that great. Irritates things. Vitamin C plus minus benefit, and a B complex vitamin. So I'm going to recommend that you take at least the B complex vitamin and a multivitamin, or just a multivitamin, or just the B complex. The B complexes have been shown to help with nerve irritation, and I'll talk about more of this in video 6 and 8 with medicines and alternative therapy. The last thing I'm going to say is you're going to have to improve your overall health and fitness. Meniere's is a chronic disease, syndrome, complex, whatever you want to call it. Again, the better health you're in, the better you're going to be able to tolerate your attacks. Okay, exercise is very, very important because it helps with your overall endorphins and you're feeling better. And the exercise you need is not hardcore, go to the gym, pump up a bunch of muscles and raise your heart rate to 180. That is just going to add more stress. What you need to do is walking or yoga or meditation or stretching or possible low-level cardiac type, and you need to do that regularly. It'll make you feel better. It'll build up your tolerance to these attacks and your overall symptoms. And along with improving your overall health and fitness, I highly, highly recommend core exercises, meaning building up your core. What that will do is it'll increase your ability to balance and your body positioning sensing. I actually have a colleague who's actually a cardiologist who actually had an acoustic neuroma, which is sort of like what Meniere's disease is, and it's a tumor that grows in on the eighth nerve. At a very young age, he actually had this whole ear complex and eighth nerve resected twice, okay? And he's lost his entire balance and hearing on one side of his head. He says that you are never quite the same. You can live with one side, but you're never quite the same, especially when he says he goes in the airplanes. So he says the number one thing he's done, and it absolutely has helped him, is doing some core exercise, balance, and he actually starts running and jogging to help with his stability in his body. So I'm going to talk in next video 5.5 about tips to try now. It's going to be a bunch of various tips that are non-invasive and that you can go out and try to do right now to help with your symptoms. Thank you. And